All right. One more time, you guys. So if you make it here, this is like the gauntlet. If we can make it through all these video tries and tries again, this is a good metaphor, actually, a good metaphor for healing. It's a metaphor for the fact that we have to keep coming back and coming. This is like a metaphor for rebirth. We don't get it right the first time. We just come back one more time. Thank you. I see you, Christina and Rochelle. Thank you so much for coming again. I appreciate you guys. Yeah. Oh my gosh. Yay. Okay, great. You guys are finding it. Hello. I'm glad you guys are here. Yay. Yes, this is number 4. I think this is a sign of our resilience, right? A sign of like how we just keep coming again and trying again. This is a sign of healing. Oh, so funny. Thank you guys for coming back. I really appreciate you. Yeah, and I do have a potential solution, but what's not here yet. So thank you guys for bearing with me. So where were we? So anything else coming up for you guys related to your own healing, related to your own journeys that you want to talk about? Go ahead and put it into the chat and let's dig in right away. You said 4 times the charm. I'm feeling it, Jacob. Thank you. Patience, says Lagatha. Me too. Solar cooties. Oh my gosh. I bet you that's it, Yolanda. There's like crazy energies hitting the planet right now, which I bet are impacting because I am on satellite. I'm using Starlink. So I bet you that is having an impact on the performance. That may be why, because it's never been like this before. So yeah, I bet you that's it. You probably just nailed it. Yeah. And then Smeepness, a funny name, says, what you shared about illness as a child, that explains so much about my sister. Yes. Right. Yeah. Yeah. I think it is a common thing and then there's all different ways that we manifest. So I'll tell you another crazy thing that happened is I had this one achy toe. My big toe was really, really achy. Like it would be fine. And then certain shoes and it would ache. And I'd be like, what's up with my toe? It was almost like an arthritic toe. But it didn't make sense. Like why literally one toe? It's not like any other part of my body is like that. It's just this one toe. And I was at night, in the middle of the night, I was dreaming, and I all of a sudden I saw in the dream that there was an old horse-drawn wagon in my dream being pulled, and in the dream it runs over that toe, and I feel this rush of pain from the toe that rushed up through my whole body, and it hurt so bad I yelped out loud, and it woke me up, and then the toe stopped aching. Boom. Like it's not 100% cleared, but it is like majority by far. Like I can wear way more shoes now, and if it ever does hurt, I can kind of just put my hands on it for a few minutes and then it gets better. Like before, it would be like ouch, ouch, and now it's like no, it's like I can wear pretty much any shoe, it seems. And yeah, so like clearly, like from that, the dream was showing me past life. Like past life, my toe apparently got run over by a horse-drawn cart, and I was able to clear. So the toe was holding the pain. And so when people come in with interesting birthmarks in interesting places, like often it's related to a past life injury, like somewhere where they got stabbed or had something crazy happen, like maybe at death, that it's related to some past life wound. Isn't that fascinating? Like as an evidence, but yeah, my toe apparently was run over and crushed. Yeah, so our body is a partner in the healing journey. Our body does a lot to try to help us with the journey, and also brings in things, grounds things into the body that we wanted to clear or wanted to heal. So the body can be an amazing partner for healing. And sometimes we think of it as like the body's working against us, but I tell you, your body, I've channeled stuff about that before, and your body is working so hard to try to help. And sometimes it does that by actually manifesting disease. So one of the crazy things that happens sometimes in soul convergence, it usually happens around the start of the second round of soul convergence 2, in the first few weeks of the feminine energy, in that portion of the program. I don't know why, but in that portion, like several people have gotten skin rashes. And if you think about it, the skin is like the largest organ. So if you were going to try to move something out of the body, moving it out through the skin is like a really lovely way to do it. And so it wasn't like a big deal. It was like they would get a rash and then it would go away. But it was an amazing, strange coincidence that it was just a method that they were using. Like some people clear by yawning or burping or all kinds of stuff. I apparently cleared my hurt toe in my dream, but multiple people have healed issues that were coming up through soul convergence, healed them through their skin. And it was always in this one same section. Isn't that crazy? Yeah, totally interesting to me. And you're saying it's fascinating. I'm only starting to explore past lives in the healing modality I use. And it's incredible what we bring in from past lives and how they present in our current lives. Yes, it is. It's amazing, right? And it can be literally like almost an identical representation, or it can be like same feeling, same basic components, but totally different circumstances, right? But the key is that it hurts us or wounds us or triggers us in the exact same way. Like fascinating. Yeah, and you're saying birthmarks can indicate past life injury points. Yeah, sometimes. Exactly. Yeah, it's super cool. And then you're saying, caught that. Oh, sorry, let me go on to see where are you guys here. Soul Convergence is amazing. Oh, thank you so much. He says, I finished the program in February. It's life changing, going through gift activation now. So very thankful. Thank you so much. I appreciate that very much. What does it mean when I'm flying in my dreams? That's a great dream. Not only do they feel, flying dreams feel incredible, but it also means that you have the gift of projection, that you're able to project your consciousness. So you could do distance healing potentially. If you were a healer, you could do that by distance, but it's wonderful for teaching. So if you think about that, if you're a teacher, say for example that you have and it could be about anything, it could be spiritual teaching, it could be teaching of any concept, but imagine that you were trying to teach something really, really complicated, and you have a picture of it in your mind, and then without even knowing it, because you have this gift, that as you're imagining this in your head, you're literally communicating that image or that perception it right into the minds of other people, which makes it way easier for them to learn it. So yeah, so it's an incredibly cool gift. It also means you would be good at hypnosis, things like that. Yeah, very, very cool. Yeah, that's a great symbol in dreams. And then, and you watch Stephen Burns. I was just watching Stephen Burns. That's how I knew about he's a YouTuber. That's how I knew about the solar energy hitting the planet right now. Yeah, apparently it's like, and apparently on watch out for like April 4th. Apparently it's supposed to be a day, you guys. I love astrology, so I pay attention to it. But apparently April 4th, it's like put on the seatbelts for that day. It's going to be a biggie, both from an energy, solar energy standpoint, and then also from an astrology one. Yeah, and then you're asking about doesn't we can carry things over from different timelines as well? Yes, you're absolutely right. And so it's an interesting thing about timelines and different lives. That one of the things the angel showed me is that, so imagine we think of, because we're very much linear, so we think about past lives as being somewhere else, as being like in the past, and but the angel showed me a metaphor to understand, like, how is it that we actually create all of the lives that we live here on earth. And they showed it to me as a pool table. And you know how when you play pool, you have the triangle with all the balls in the center, and then you take the white ball and you hit it, and all those balls go poof, all at once. And they said that is how we create our lives. That when we decide to incarnate on earth, we create all the lives at once. And we think of them as in order, because they're on a timeline, but in fact they were all created in the same moment, which really makes me think of those of you that know Dolores Cannon and her work, which is so fascinating. So those of you that don't know Dolores Cannon, she has passed, but she's written many fascinating books, and she created this super cool hypnosis system called QHHT. And she was practicing this, and hers came in kind of just like mine, where it was like, whoops, here it is, here's what I'm supposed to be doing. And but what was fascinating is that she would be, people would start having these sort of crazy experiences, and so they'd go into like a deep, deep, deep trance, and they would be speaking to her while they were in trance. So they were sort of in a deep state of hypnosis. One of them was seeing a past life where they were in the room with do I want to say Galileo? You guys, somebody correct me. Am I saying that right? Was it Galileo, or no? It wasn't. It was the one. I want to say Galileo, but it wasn't. Nostradamus. It was Nostradamus. Thank you. And so Nostradamus, I think it was Nostradamus was in the room, or maybe it was Galileo. Oh, well, somebody correct me, please. But anyways, the guy who's talking sees him and says, "Oh, he's coming over," and then all of a sudden starts talking to her and saying, "Hey, who are you? You're there. Like, who are you?" And actually starts the person who's under hypnosis starts relaying message between Nostradamus / Galileo and Dolores Cannon. So they started having this crazy, the quatrains. Why am I, it's just because I'm having a brain fart, you guys. Did somebody giving me the answer here? I hope. Nostradamus, thank you so much, Adriana. I appreciate you. So Nostradamus's quatrains, which were like these prophetic things. So started telling her all this information about it. But then here's where it gets really wild. And thank you so much, Nydia. I really appreciate you. That was very sweet of you. So then Nostradamus starts anytime she has anybody under hypnosis, Nostradamus kind of shoves his way in and starts talking to her. And it doesn't matter who she's talking to, he will just pick up where he left off the last time. Like, what a mind blower, absolute mind blower. So it is like a connection made. So maybe she was Nostradamus in a past life, and that she's making a connection between her old self and her current self. Maybe, right? Maybe that's it. So fascinating, absolutely fascinating. But the idea being, how can she have real time conversations with somebody who's living way, way, way in the past? It's because all time is now. Isn't that fascinating? I just find it to be like, when we get into the metaphysical stuff, it just gets more and more interesting all the time. And you're saying, let me read in here. He says, my dreams are hardly ever with familiar people or places. It's like we plan to get to the fullest experience and try to live out many, many scenarios. Oh, isn't that interesting? And thank you, Eliana. That's really kind of you. Thank you very much. And you say, is it true she reincarnated again already? I don't know. Maybe if you heard, I'm curious if you guys heard anything. She was an amazing person, wasn't she? And the work she did. Yeah. If you haven't ever looked at her books, they are fun and so interesting, mind blowing to read. Yeah. And Danny says, at the moment, my connections, light code drawings, are becoming stronger as I deeper connect with myself, and I slowly am being consciously guided in my dreams too. And I then remember them better. Oh, isn't that amazing? Yeah. Well, I think it is really a thing right now. And I think will be more so, that we are becoming, it's like the veil is getting thinner and thinner. So it was like literally just yesterday, Wendy, I sent Wendy a text about Wendy, as you guys, Wendy is here moderating with us. Wendy is, we call her our CO, our angel COO. She manages all things in terms of our business together and the work that we do together. She handles all of the back end logistical, as well as doing business coaching and all kinds of stuff. So she's invaluable in the work that I do. I couldn't do it without her. That she's the one who runs this, like, kind of covers the strategy of all of it, and helps keep all the things running smoothly. So anyways, but so she and I are going to be in New York together for an event coming up, which, by the way, if you are in New York, come and join us at the end of April. We're going to be there for a one-day event, if you hadn't heard. So we'd love to have you come and see us. But I was just thinking, oh, I got to send her my flight information. So I was texting it to her. And as soon as I sent it to her, she texted me back. She said, I was literally just thinking about that. Like, we just had this, and it's happening. I don't know about you guys, but it's happening more and more and more with me. These strange, and I'm probably with her too, and probably with you guys. These moments where you're having these thought connections, telepathy happening, and it felt really oddly. It felt in that moment that it was as if I could feel her from a far away distance as I was sending that text. So anyways, but I wasn't trying to. That was different. I wasn't. It's not like I was. I wasn't in meditation. I wasn't like thinking. I was just going about my daily day, and there it was. So yeah. So I wonder for you guys if you're having more of that, but absolutely easier in terms of the opening of our gifts and what we're able to access, the level of guidance we're able to achieve. And that will change and grow over time. The more healing we do, the more access we have to our gifts as well. So that is it's interesting, though, like, as a caveat to that, there can be people who are highly gifted, who are amazing channels, who are amazing healers, who are amazing light workers in all different realms, but maybe have not done as much work on their healing journey. And so that is a thing for our discernment, is to understand that just because somebody is using their spiritual gifts in the world does not mean that they are healed. And so just to be aware of that as we go out into the world, I think it can be like when somebody is really stepping into their gifts, we assume a lot of times that it means that they're somehow closer to spirit, when what it means is that, so a lot of times when people have access to their gifts, it's sometimes it happens because they went through trauma at birth and they left a foot over on the spirit side, and it's easier for them to get back there, or because they had a near-death experience and the veil thinned. But they may not have gone through their healing journey. And if someone has not worked a lot on their own healing, then everything that comes through is coming through the filter. Everything has to come through us. So if the filter is not clear, then the stuff that comes through whatever stuff is there. And so just use that as your own. And every channel, every healer, every person, we're all human. We all have our weaknesses. We all have our flaws. We all have our stuff. And so we can become, like, I know for myself, I can become a better channel by trying as hard as I can to get clearer and clearer and clearer. And that's part of when people ask me, how is it that I got to be a channel? How is it that I worked on my own channeling connection? Is by doing my healing, is by trying to get more and more and more out of my own way. To try to heal as much as I could, so that what came through, my priority is to try to be as clear of a channel as I can be. And so, but using your gifts, and like there's a connection in the sense that when you heal, it makes it easier for you to step into your gifts. But there are many people who were born with wide open connections for various reasons. Like I said, sometimes it's trauma at birth, sometimes it's near death experience, it's all different reasons. But it doesn't necessarily mean that they have healed. As a matter of fact, one time I remember I got a reading from someone, and it blew my mind because it was like a psychic reading, and it was as many years ago. And what she told me, I knew were my irrational fears. And I knew they were irrational fears because they were crazy talk. Like my rational brain was like, I know that's not even ever going to happen, but I know it's like my random fear that I have. And this woman was somehow plucking it right out of my brain and telling me it was going to happen. And I was mesmerized by it. I was like, this is fascinating. She can read my fears. And I thought it might have just been a fluke. Like it might have been just that day. Maybe I was like really nervous that day or whatever. And so months later, I scheduled another session just to learn, because I was so curious. And she did it again. She literally reached in, found irrational fears and plucked them out. And so what that tells me is that, yeah, we read all different layers of the field. And so maybe she was a person who was working through a lot of fears. And so what she was resonating with or connecting with in my field was my irrational fears. And that was what she was reading. And she didn't mean to, like she was trying to give me a good reading. But it just is a good lesson for us to know, is to always have our discernment, to know that, and same thing for me, that as a channel, I have to be very conscious of where my own stuff is. Like, so for example, my kids want me to channel for them all the time. And my son is like, should I move to this other foreign country? And I have to be like, I am never going to be clear on that. Like, you want me to channel on that? I'm like, no matter what, I will not be clear on that, because I definitely I'm not excited about him moving away. So I can't be clear. Like whatever comes through is going to be tainted by mom. And so like, that's a thing, we just have to be aware of our stuff. And then if you're working with a healer or working with a channel, to try to understand they're human and they're imperfect. We all are. And to use our discernment, here's a good barometer I use for knowing if it's really for you or not. When you hear something, that you hear it and it's like some part of you already knew, like it lands as if you're like, yeah, that makes sense. Like it lands in my heart. Like I already knew it. I just needed to hear it again. Then it's true. And when you hear something that's like, what? Like what? I can't believe it. It doesn't make any sense to me. Might not be true. But usually truths, some part of our spirit, some part of our soul already knew it anyways. Yeah. So, and so thank you so much, Najat. I really appreciate that. Thank you. That was really sweet of you. Thank you. You guys are so kind. I really appreciate you being here and coming back. How many times now? Thank you so much. Oh my gosh. Oh, you're asking, should the tax system be abolished? I don't know. And I don't have any angel guidance on that. That's a great question. I don't know. Yeah. And then Ashmi saying, thank you. Oh, thank you so much. I appreciate it. You're saying, I wish I could go to one of your seminars. Yay. Australia is a long ways away. I want to come to Australia. We're going to try to work it out. So we're trying to grow to do more in-person events, but it's a process. Traveling to do in-person events it actually takes a ton of well, of course, like the time to get there and then a lot of resources to make it happen. And especially to go somewhere far like Australia, it takes quite a bit of investment to make it work. And so we're growing. I just have to take one step at a time. We're growing now. We've done a couple this year. We did Phoenix, and we're doing New York. And then anybody that wants to come and work intensely with the angels, you guys, I do once a year. This year it'll be October, last week of October, we do our 3-day retreat, which is long enough. It's worth coming in for if you want to. It is, if you really want to go deep with the angels, that is the place to do it. It is so much fun. So if you want to know more about that, that's on my website. It is the Expand Your Heart Retreat. And that one is actually where I channel the Mother of Creation. And it is just, I love that event. So if you're an event person, I love being at events with people. I love the community and being together. If you love that too, then yeah, come and join me there. But yes, but Australia is absolutely on my mind, and I would love to come. So yeah, for sure. And so the cynical bananas, thank you so much. Thank you for that. You're saying, and to Scotland. I need to go to Scotland. I actually, apparently, one of my happiest past lives was in Scotland. So I had a life there. Apparently, it was my best life ever was in Scotland. So I really want to go back, see if I can reignite the magic. In Como, Italy. Oh, I want to go. That I was meant to go to Como on my first honeymoon, and then it was pouring rain, and we redirected. And I have never been. So yeah, I would love to go there too. And then let's go down here and see. You're saying I'm still open to the doing more to help people, but I wait for the signs. Beautiful.